Good day. My name is Sherlock Holmes and I'm the President and CEO of Genware Computer Systems. I'd like to thank you and welcome you to today's session. Just before I hand it over to the presenters to cover their exciting content, I'd like to give you a quick introduction to Genware Computer Systems. I like to think about ourselves as the smallest global company. Genware Computer Systems is a New Jersey-based organization, and we provide solutions and services in the field of advanced analytics and data provisioning to organizations across the USA, Canada, and Latin America. In the United Kingdom, we provide services through our joint venture organization, DataShack Limited, and in Africa, we work with our joint venture partner, DataShack Pty Limited, and the Genware Shack. In Africa, we also have an organization named NLG Africa that focuses on natural language generation, specifically doing a lot of work with multilingual natural content being generated. Of course, in the USA, Genware provides services in natural language generation as well. We have an office in Montevideo, Uruguay, servicing our Latin American companies and customers. And we also work with Linko, a partner based in Mexico, with extensive experience using the TIBCO technology stack for integration and analytics services. Across our organization, we work very closely with TIBCO and we all belong to the TIBCO Elite Partner Program. At Genware, we believe in leveraging information as an asset. To do that, you need to source information, you need to optimize the storage of that information and make it ready and easy to use. You need to govern that information, and then you need to deliver that information and leverage the tools and technologies we have available today to explore, analyze, and make decisions on the information. Of course, today information comes to us much faster than ever before and from many more data sources than it did in the past. So other than just building data warehouses or data marts, we're now involved with a fully functional data fabric that's required. The data fabric allows us to source information from different areas, allows us to use different types of information, also allows us to interact with information that's streaming in real time. We leverage data virtualization to provide quick access to this, to handle federating data sources and integrating it, governing data. We leverage master data management solutions to ensure that the integration provides an accurate view of data that's been integrated from multiple systems. And we use a data catalog to make it easy for end users and analysts to quickly discover new data that's been made available through the data fabric. For visual analytics and dashboarding and data exploration, we use TIBCO Spotfire. We also do work with streaming analytics using TIBCO Stream so that we can make decisions on data as it comes through the pipeline and actually visualize that directly in TIBCO Spotfire visualizations. We use TIBCO Data Science for the data science and predictive capabilities that it brings to the table. Machine learning and predictive analytics is becoming core to our process and being able to leverage large volumes of data and make decisions on transactions that are happening in real time. To do all of this, the TIBCO technology stack allows us to bring products that are tightly integrated that provide best-of-breed type functionality to our customers. Genware Computer Systems is a multi-year award winner of the TIBCO Partner of the Year award. And we have a nice little video that speaks specifically to our partnership. I'm not going to play the video now, but it's readily available on our website. Our partnership with TIBCO is an important one because it brings all the technologies together that are needed to build advanced analytics solutions. Genware Computer Systems has a very strong relationship with TIBCO. In addition, as I mentioned, to the Partner of the Year awards that we've received, we do collaborate not only with their sales teams, but very closely with their engineering teams, as well as their services teams. Being able to bring expertise from Genware, coupled with the technologies from TIBCO, to you, our customer, and leverage your experience with your business and your processes, together we can collectively leverage information as an asset and implement analytic solutions that really make a difference so that you can make decisions in real time and as and when they have an impact on your business process. So with no further ado, I'm now going to hand it over to the presenters. And again, thank you very much for joining us. I trust you're going to have a lot of benefit out of today's session.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Shelby Goldman, and I'm a solutions architect here at Genware Computer Systems. I want to first off thank you for joining us today as we learn a little bit more about natural language generation. I have a few items on my agenda today. First, we're going to be talking about what is natural language generation, or NLG, as you may hear me refer to it as. Next, we're going to be talking about using NLG with a variety of integrations, and today we're going to be specifically looking at how we can integrate natural language with TIBCO Spotfire. Finally, we're going to take a look at how to use NLG outside of a BI dashboard. We're going to take a look at a few examples to perhaps spark some interesting insights into how we can use NLG. So let's take a minute and talk about what is natural language generation. Again, you may hear me say NLG. So NLG, what it simply does, it creates content from a structured data set. So what that means is that if you have a data set, perhaps any kind of industry that you can think of, truly, you have finance, you have healthcare, you have manufacturing, anything, all of that all revolves around data, right? That's what all these businesses boil down to, is all about the data. Now, not everybody in the company can understand all of that data. You can have your charts and your dashboards, and they can all have that message of how we are doing. But in order to get that message across to everybody, a lot of people are starting to use natural language generation to take that data and turn it into a narrative that everybody can understand. Now, when I say everybody can understand, I mean that you truly can have narrative produced not only in English, but in any language that you or someone at your company can speak. Part of starting with data is, where are we getting our data from? And with natural language, you can really get data from any kind of sources you see here on the screen. And then we're also going to be talking about what kind of platform can we use to translate that and turn that into a presentable piece of narrative. So let's talk about the platform. What kind of platform can we use for natural language generation? Well, before we talked about TIBCO and how our Genware computer system is an elite partner. And now Genware computer system is also a partner with Arria. Arria is a natural language company, and they use something called Arria Studio as their natural language generation provider. So this is a dashboard here created in TIBCO Spotfire, and you can look at each individual chart by selecting a state, as you can see here on the map. Now, what this is doing, it is providing year-over-year sales for not only your brand, but also comparing them to how your brand is doing within its class. You have the ability to break down that information by segments and markets. And one of the things that we have realized is that we need to be able to translate this information to everybody in the company so everyone is getting one true story. So now what I'd like to do, I'd like to go into the Spotfire dashboard, and let's take a look at some of the offerings that Arria Studio can help us with. So here we have our Spotfire dashboard, and this is our promotion performance dashboard, and this is the one that we just took a look at when we were looking at the slides. And as a recap, what it's doing is comparing our year one and our year two sales and comparing them versus the class versus the market. The user has the ability here in the map to select a different state to provide a marking to filter the below chart. So with one of the offerings from Arria Studio is you have the ability to generate out-of-the-box narratives. So this allows you not to have to create anything in Arria Studio except teach Arria a little bit about your data. So that's what we see here on the right. And to showcase you how we got here is, prior to creating this dashboard, we did add the Arria plugin to our server. And then when you add a visualization, you'll see that visualization right here. So you would then drag and drop as if you would any other visualization. Next, you would teach Arria about your data. So within the Arria section, you would select the settings, and then you would come here and you would tell Arria what's your data source, what are your dimensions and measures, And you can also tell Arria to acknowledge the fact that you are marking your data, which is a really great feature. So you don't have to set any other filters among your data when you send it over. What's also a nice feature is that you have the ability to not only to select which data source you want to send over to Arria. That gives you the ability to have more than one data source within your dashboard and still have the ability to use NLG. Next, you would specify the dimensions. So here I wanted to specify my dimensions are city, state, region, and store type. And then the measures I wanted to look at were my class sales year 1 and my 1 and 2, and then the breakdown of comparing the same to the brand. I'm not going to limit my data using markings right now. And another nice feature is that you also have the ability to set the font size and color as well as the background color. So I'm going to leave all that the same right now. So if I exit that, now I'll tell Arria a little bit about my data. Here I'll specify which ones are a dimension. So all of that was categorized correctly. And then I'll specify my measure. So I do know that these measures are in fact currency and my units are in USD. So we can see here that I just specified those measures, pretty straightforward. And next I'll go into telling Arria what kind of analysis do I want. So I'm going to let Arria decide what kind of descriptive statistics it would be best to show. And then I would also like Arria to tell me what's going on within my variance. And I'll specifically say, I'll choose a target-based variance and my class sales year 2. Here are all the measures I chose. So I'm going to show that my class sales year 2 and my target was year 1. And then finally, I'll tell Arria what level of information do I want it to provide me back. I can either choose a summary, show me only the important things, or to tell me everything. So under the important things, we can see here from within my data that it's going to break down that information by those different dimensions I selected. So we can see by store type, and we can see that class sales year 1 across my store types was 211,000, so it's automatically abbreviating that. And it's also going to tell me, breaking down even further, who was my lowest contributor as far as my store types, and that's going to be large retailer. The same idea, it's going to be breaking it down by region, by state, and by city. So one of the benefits of having these out-of-the-box narratives is that I didn't have to configure anything. Arria is going to analyze my data for me and give me those insights I need, and now I can move on. So once I have that component, perhaps, I do need to create custom narratives. And in our case, for this dashboard, as mentioned earlier, we do have locations. Genware Computer System has locations throughout the world. And for this dashboard, we're using it not only here in the US, but we're also using the same in South Africa, and we're using the same in Uruguay. So what that new requirement now has is possibly providing the dashboard in different languages. And that's something we can do here within our custom narrative. So what we have here is our custom created narrative that we developed within Arria Studio. We can see here that now we have that option for the 3 languages I mentioned earlier, and we have the ability to change the data depending upon the state we select. So if I change our state, what will happen is using the API,